Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie, and we are officially diving into the new book. So we've talked about it. I've given you an overview. We've even talked about the first paragraph, but we're diving into the book. If you have a book, awesome. If you don't have a book, you can just listen and take away one thought for the day. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? I feel like most people are probably starting their new journey, their new goals, I don't like to say New Year's resolutions, but New Year's resolutions. They're starting everything today. It's a Monday. If you're watching live, it's Monday. So I did all of my things this morning except for one, but I've shared this before. I have my DMO list of my day, my daily method of operation. All of the things I do before I wake up my kids. We have 4 daughters. We homeschool. So I've got one that's awake. She did her workout. She did her reading. The 3 littles are sleeping. Well, the middle and the 2 littles. And so I just wanted to remind you something that's super helpful as you are preparing and as you're planning and as you are reaching towards your goals, write them down, have a checklist, and do them before you do anything else. That is the goal. So it helps me to write it down. I have my word of the year. I have everything that I'm focused on in the morning, my morning routine right here. So it's super helpful. Does anybody else do that? Anybody have everything written down? All right, we're going to dive into this book. It is called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And so if we're going to obviously we'll start in chapter 1. It's kind of long, but I'm going to give you a basic, it's actually not that long. If you have the book, I hope you're reading along with me. If not, here's what it's about. The Law of Intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. What do you mean? You have to be intentional. You have to have your goals written down. So I read this before, but basically, John Maxwell went and met with a mentor. And the mentor said, do you have a plan for your personal growth? And he said, what do you mean? I work really hard. I do all of the things I'm supposed to do. I work overtime, like everything was work. And he said, no. What is your plan for personal growth? And then John had to sit back and he was like, I have no plan to become better. I'm just working really hard. And so he says, working hard doesn't guarantee success. How do you get better at what you want to do? And so his mentor said, the number one key, that's why we're reading, the number one key to get healthier, stronger, have better relationships, better finances. Well, this is not the number one key, but it is one that is super important, that if you want success in any area of your life, the key is personal growth. And I would agree with this 100%. It's not the number one. I think it's like the top 5. It's personal growth. What does personal growth mean? It's not letting the world decide your life or the world decide your decisions or other people. It is you being intentional about your goals, putting actions behind them, and then focusing on your mindset. Personal growth. What are you reading? What are you listening to? Do you have a mentor? What are you watching? All of those things play a part in your personal growth, and your personal growth is going to depend on, is it negative or positive? What's going in here? You're going to see it overflow out of who you are in your words and your actions, negative or positive, and it all depends on what's going into here. So here's something super important. He says, there are growth gap traps. So I'm pretty sure there was 5, but there might be more. Basically, he says this: people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they are unwilling to improve themselves. They, therefore, remain bound. So here are some traps you can fall into. As I'm reading them, figure out if one of these is you, and then we're going to have to get past the trap. Okay, number 1 is the assumption goal. I assume that I will automatically grow. Okay? The problem is that we don't improve by just simply living. We have to be intentional. You don't automatically get smarter or stronger or skinnier or healthier or wiser. All of it has to be intentional. What are you doing? So the assumption gap number one is I will automatically grow. If that is you, take a step back and go, okay, clearly I'm not going to automatically get what I want. What do I have to do to get to where I want to go? Number two, the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. Do you have a growth plan? His mentor asked him. He says, I don't even know how to grow or even where to start. Maybe that's you. I don't know how to grow. I don't know where to start. Well, if you're on here, this is a great place to start. This is wisdom and knowledge. This is a growth plan. This is personal development. He said, many people learn only from the school of hard knock life, difficult experiences teaching them lessons the hard way. And they change sometimes for the better, but sometimes it's also for the worse. The lessons are random and difficult. It's much better to plan your growth intentionality. You decide where your needs are, and if you want to grow. You choose what you want to learn, and you follow through with discipline going at the pace that you decide to set. So he talks about working on his attitude, his goals, discipline, measuring, and being consistent. All right, number three, the timing gap. He says, it's not the right time to begin. Have you ever said that? I need everything to be perfect. I need everything to... Like the timing gap could be right now, and a lot of people are starting right now, and we're going to talk about finishing later. So what's great is it's a new year. Most of you and your friends or family are starting today, which is incredible. Oftentimes people go, it's not the right time. And this is where I've said this before in a live. 5 frogs are sitting on a log. Well, his mentor says, here, I have a riddle for you. 5 frogs are sitting on a log. 4 decide to jump off. How many are left? You maybe have heard this before. There's different varieties of ways I've said that. And he said, there's 1. And, well, John Maxwell said there's 1. And his mentor said, no, there are still 5 frogs on the log. Why? Because there's a difference between deciding and doing. Right now, you are all doing because it is a new year and you are focused. So you're going to have to continue to tune into the page to make sure that you are staying on track. You're working through the middle and you're going to finish. You're going to stay strong. What great accomplishment would have been in the world if everybody had done what they intended to do? If everybody does what they intend to do, there would be some incredible, great accomplishments. The longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds are that you will actually never do it. So if you don't have this book, it's fine. You should just listen because there's lots of little one-liners. I love to hear one-liners. I love to hear quotes. I love to write them down. The key is to take action. So make sure it's right here. And then you're like, what am I going to do with it? He said, life lived for tomorrow will always be a day away from you being realized. The reality is that you will never get much done unless you go ahead and do it before you are ready. If you're not already intentionally growing, you need to get started today. Congratulations to all of you who are on here. You are starting today. This is so great. All right. The assumption number 4 is the mistake gap. I'm afraid of making a mistake. What would you attempt to do if you knew that you wouldn't fail? I wrote in here in the title of the video, the only way you fail is if you quit. And he talks about failure. A mistake is simply another way of doing things. To become intentional about growing, expect to make mistakes every single day and welcome them as a sign that you are moving forward and you are learning. It's not a mistake. You are learning from something and you're moving forward. The perfect gap. This is number 5. I have to find the best way. And that's basically almost the same as the other one. There's no perfect. Don't mess up good for perfect. Take action. Number 6, there's a couple more. Number 6, the inspiration gap. I don't feel like doing it. You're starting today. You're excited. The beginning is exciting, whatever your goals are for this year. And you might hit this I don't feel like doing it moment or day. And the more you don't feel like doing it, and the more you get out of your routine and you don't do your habits, you're going to find yourself back to where you were last year. if you didn't like where you were at, or whatever the case may be, right? So here's the deal. That's why it's so important to have what I had called our DMO list, all of the things that you want to do. This list that I work on every morning is a non-negotiable. Unless I, for some reason, cannot get out of bed, if I don't feel like it, if I'm emotional, if I'm cranky, if I'm tired, it doesn't matter. Those things have to be done. And so it doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. You're going to get to the middle of this year and you're going to be like, maybe you aren't exactly where you want to be, but you've got to remember where you came from. So don't use the excuse, I don't feel like it. You've got to have a decisive mindset. I'm going to do it no matter what. Everybody in for that? All right. I thought that there are actually quite a few. Another one he said was the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Yes. He says preparation plus attitude plus opportunity plus action equals, he says, most people say luck. Hard work gets you to where you want to go. And so you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. That's super good. You can't change your outcomes right away. You cannot change your destination. Nothing is an overnight, but you can change your direction by making a pivot and taking action. I think we're going to go through, so he says making the transition is intentional growth. There's different questions that he asks, so I'm actually going to go through that tomorrow and review that. So make sure you don't fall into one of these gaps. I thought it would be easier gap, I have to find the best and perfect way gap, I'm afraid to make a mistake, it's not the right time to begin. And the last one was the assumption that I will automatically grow, or I don't know how to get started. You do know how to. If you're here and most of you want fat loss, you know what to do. You can always learn and add more wisdom and knowledge. You can learn different recipes and tips and tricks, but you know that the drive-through is not going to serve you. You know that you should be drinking water instead of all that pop, or maybe adding less sugar into your coffee. You know you should move your body. Now you know because I told you. You can't unknow something once you hear it. I told you the key to success, from John Maxwell's point of view, is personal growth. Now you know it, and you can't unknow it. It's up to you whether you're going to take action on this or not. So that is where we're going to stop. We'll dive into some questions that he asks tomorrow. So identify if any of those assumptions were one that you might fall trapped to, so that when it comes up, you're like, oh, I am not going to fall trapped to this, and I'm going to keep moving forward. So I hope you enjoy the book with me. I'm super excited to go through this all month. It's going to be amazing. Again, this page is books and wisdom and knowledge and growing our personal growth in the morning, our personal mindset. And then throughout the day, there will be different recipes, tips, and tricks for you as you are going on your health and fitness journey. So message me with any questions that you have. I'm always here to help. Who's excited for the new year? I'm super excited. So I hope you have an incredible day. Go do the things that you have decided you're going to do. You just need to take the action. For those of you who wrote out your DMO list, we've talked about this before. Go do all of the things no matter what. So have a great day. We'll talk to you very soon.